Good morning, it's Friday morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View with myself, Baz. Yesterday, James Forrest spoke to the media ahead of Aberdeen Vs Celtic this weekend. And it's going to be an interesting game that I'm going to talk about who I think may start up front. And it might give you a little surprise because I don't think it'll be the player that a lot of people think may start the game this weekend. But before we talk about that, Celtic have made an offer for another defender and it has been rejected out of hand. It has been just kicked out as normal. This transfer window, Celtic have been lowballing quite a lot of teams for their players and the teams have just been rejecting them outright. Celtic have had a bid for a Serie A defender. Now we have just brought in Jemai Simpson-Puzzi on loan. And it looks like Celtic are trying to bring in another defender. I still think that there will be two defenders will leave Celtic this season. I think that Dane Murray will get a new contract and put out on loan. And I think that Stephen Welsh will also want to leave the club. He was unfortunate in getting injured, remember, during pre-season. He was devastated at that. All the talk at the time was the fact that Stephen Welsh would more than likely be leaving Celtic this transfer window. Hence the reason that Celtic have been trying to get in another defender, but they've been unsuccessful so far. I think they'll just leave that one there because until Celtic start putting in offers, and this is what gets the fans about what we paid for players last season. People say that we paid too much for certain players at Celtic. If you're going to go in low ball and offers when it gets to the later end of the window and teams know that you're struggling to get in, it's any business as well within its right to just bump the prices up for players, and then Celtic are then clambering about trying to get players at over exuberated prices. It is the way that it seems to be working just now, but don't bemoan the fact if come the end of the window we do bring in players at 8, 9, 10, even 12 million, you never know. Will Celtic break their record from last season? Something says maybe not, but something says yeah, they maybe will. But there will be other players that I think could leave this window also. I think that Inamura is not a first team start for Celtic, even though he has played well. I think that there is a possibility he may get put out on loan. He didn't make the bench, and I thought it was interesting that he didn't make the bench last week, but I can understand why he didn't make the bench, because Liam Scales is more a utility player than him. He's got more experience. You can play Liam Scales, and it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all playing Scales at left back when Kieran Tierney does come off. Can Kieran Tierney see out a 90-minute game? He went hell for leather, let's face it. I mean, the heat map for Kieran Tierney was all over that side of the pitch, and he's a fantastic player, but we need to make sure that Kieran Tierney is 100% fit for the big games, the Champions League game that's coming up in a few weeks. You know, this weekend's a big game. You need to make sure, and I reckon that's why Brendan Rodgers took him off towards the end of the game last week, is just to make sure that he maintains his fitness, because this is the game that you want Kieran Tierney in for. The Aberdeen game this weekend, it's not going to be a mugs game, this one. You know, they were in a complete riot of a game against Hearts in game day 1. Game day 2, they're in their home ground. They've got a big fan base up there that they want to try and please and get off to a good start, considering they won the Scottish Cup last season, so they will be in buoyant mood. After that, they will think that they can take Celtic again, and they want to lay down a marker. It's as simple as that. If you're an Aberdeen fan, you're wanting your team to come out and lay down a marker at home, first game of the season, on your intentions for the season ahead. And if it means trying to take points off Celtic, well, that's what you're going to have to do, isn't it? From a Celtic point of view, we need to go there and win convincingly. We were unlucky game day 1, I'm going to say. With the amount of shots that came off, this keeper was brilliant. Do you know, you can't say enough about their keeper and the saves that he made. But we move on. There's been a lot of people talking about Rodgers and his ongoing situation. Martin O'Neill's been getting in on it, but I think that the transfer window is something that needs to take paramount, and Brendan Rodgers will say that also. We have been linked with a Liverpool player, a Spanish young Liverpool player, and I don't think that the young boy is ideal for Celtic. I mean, there's a lot of people saying that he could potentially be the replacement for Callum McGregor. He came through the youth system at Celta Vigo before joining Liverpool's academy. He's had too many injuries for me. He's ever present. He's in and around the Spain under 21s that have been quite good, and they've got some fantastic players coming through the under 21s in Spain. But I just think that when you look at the injury, and you can understand why Liverpool are maybe saying, do you know what, you're not going to make it with us, son. If he's not going to make it at Liverpool, why should we take him at Celtic? It's all about standards, isn't it? I mean, Ben Doak was good enough for us, and Ben Doak walked away for nothing. They're now trying to get Ben Doak sold for 20 million, and we're going to take one of their young players that they are deeming not good enough. If that's the way that Celtic are going, so be it. But I don't think that Celtic would risk going for the player with the amount of injuries that he's had in his young career. If you think Kieran Tierney's been bad, this guy's got potential to be even on the sidelines even more. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and will Celtic go in with a bigger bid? Will they go in with a bigger bid for this defender? Who knows? I think it's going to be the case that next week will be the week that we may get one or two players in, and then everything else is going to happen after the Champions League. It's as simple as that. Should we be excited about it? Yeah, because we brought in some good players last year, even so. I mean, Luke McCowan was an absolute steal at 1 million. Who plays this weekend? That's more to the point. Aberdeen is going to be a big game. It's always a big game going up to Aberdeen. It's always a hard game going to Aberdeen. It's never an easy game. Kasper Schmeichel will be in goals because he is the number one keeper, with Sinisalo on the bench. I thought about the manager maybe making a change at the back and bringing in, and I think he might still do this because he'll leave Liam Scales on the bench. So I think the back four is going to be Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Jamal SP, as he's got on his shirt, and the ever-present Kieran Tierney. I think that he'll have Liam Scales on the bench so that it gives you that backup for in case Jamal Simpson Puzzi gets a bit of a shock of the intensity of the SPFL. It allows you to bring Liam Scales on, but then Liam Scales can also come on as that left-sided defender to replace Kieran Tierney. You'll have Tony Ralston that will be on backup, so that'll be the three defenders that they'll use on the bench. When it comes to it, Stephen Welsh will be nowhere near the bench, which is unfortunate for him, and Austin Trusty's not going to get near the bench either. Celtic are going to have a big decision to make. I mean, is Austin Trusty prepared to sit around and not be on the bench quite a few times this season, especially if we're going to try and get another player in? Now, we all know that Trusty's a good player when he plays with Cameron Carter-Vickers, but the pace is what Brendan Rodgers likes for the Champions League. Now in the midfield, you're going to have the holding two as per game day one. It's going to be Callum McGregor, and you're going to have Benji sitting alongside him, who's going to be given a free rein to roam up the pitch the way that he was in the first game of the season. So it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 formation that I think Brendan Rodgers will go with again. So with Callum McGregor and Benji in the sort of holding role, that will allow Rio Hatate and who else? So it'll allow Rio Hatate in the midfield, and I think there'll be it'll be forward players. It will be forward players. I think that Adam Ida will be dropped for this game for Johnny Kenny. Yes, I don't think Shin Yamada will be seen at this game just yet. I think Aberdeen away, due to the physicality of the game that they had in game day one, with the amount of fouls that there was in that game also. I think there was almost 40 fouls in the Aberdeen Hearts game. It shows you the intensity that both teams were going at it. And I think that Johnny Kenny will get the nod before Shin Yamada. And I think that Adam Ida may be brought in as an impact player. If Adam Ida is given the nod by Brendan Rodgers, and if he doesn't have an impact, people will say that the clock is ticking on Adam Ida. I think that the jury is still out whether I think he's still going to be here. You're not getting rid of Adam Ida. We haven't replaced Kyogo. There's so many things pointing to why we should not get rid of Adam Ida. It doesn't matter how bad you think that the player is. But from Brendan Rodgers' perspective, and the management's perspective, there's other players within the attacking force at Celtic that will get loaned out first. Callum Osmond, what will happen to him? He's going to be third choice, fourth choice striker at best at Celtic. Marco Tilio wants away. Yang, well, he still wants away. Shin Yamada, he will be eased into life at Celtic. I think that there's more chance of him coming into the Falkirk game, but you never know. He might be absolutely on fire in training, something that we're not really getting to see over the course of the week. Brendan Rodgers has had a full week with training with the players, and he'll be trying different formations out against this Aberdeen side. It's going to be Dyson Maeda on one wing, it'll be Yang on the other, and I do think that the striker to start the game will be Johnny Kenny. I think that he'll be given his chance to try and shine and outclass Adam Ida, who cost a lot more than him. But then again, time is also running out for Johnny Kenny. Johnny Kenny is in the last year of his contract. He has spoken during the summer recess that he would like to sign a new deal with Celtic. He's not going to be too hard to deal with. Brendan Rodgers spoke about that. I think it's something that will happen closer to the edge of the window, when Celtic maybe decide, you know what, we're going to loan Johnny Kenny out because we're going to have Adam Ida, Shin Yamada and Callum Osmond. Callum Osmond's a third choice at best. But it all depends if Celtic do go for another striker. Will they bring in another striker? I've got a funny feeling they won't. I think that that's we're done and dusted when it comes to the striker department. I think that there's more chance of Celtic going out and getting two wingers, a midfielder and a defender between now and the end of the window. Tell me your team in the comments and see what you think, because I think that it's going to be one of those games where Celtic are going to be up against it, and Aberdeen away this early in the season, their fan base going to be right up for it. Celtic fans that travel up in numbers will be up for it. It could really be, could it be a draw? Could it be a draw? When it comes to it, it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.